Race 2 is just lining up on the grid behind me, and it is going to be an interesting one with rain in the air this morning. We have Will Blackwell-Chambers on pole, and Sam Smith is still determined to keep this competition alive. So let's see how they get on. Over to Jake to run you through all the action.
Rain in the air at Rockingham. Well, that'll be spicy, particularly when it's Mazda MX-5 Championship racing on the horizon. Will Blackwell-Chambers and Sam Smith on the front row. John Langridge and Jason Greatrex on the second row from Mike Comber and Oliver Allwood, with Paul Bateman and Brian Trott making it an all-Masters row 4. Martin Canning and Martin Tolley share row 5 to round out the top 10 from Adam Craig and Clive Poles. Then it's Jack Brewer and Callum Greatrex from Scott Leach and Matt Pollard. Then Steve Foden in 17th, along with the 5 drivers who made it in from the B group: Jack Moody, Bryn Griffiths, Rafael Drajac, Oliver Robinson and Ivan Leary. So let's see how they're all going to get on in this second race of the weekend. And as Lyndsay Close rightly said, there is rain in the air, and when it falls at Rockingham, it falls with gusto and bravado. So we should see plenty of great thrills and sprills here in this particular race. The red lights go out. Let's race again at Rockingham. Good start from the front of the grid. No major catastrophes. Everybody off the line cleanly. They head into the first corner, and John Langridge has got a better start than Sam Smith, and it looks like Jason Greatrex is going to get alongside it through turn 1 as well. As Brian Trott there goes to battle with Clive Poles, and they go on the outside of Martin Tolley, who's made a good start. As they all jostle the way for position, Blackwell-Chambers is side by side with Langridge, trying to cut through to the inside, but Blackwell-Chambers defends valiantly as Jason Greatrex now cuts in for the inside. Sam Smith's nowhere to go, and it's 4 wide through Dean Hairpin. I've never seen it that much congestion on the first lap of the race. Goodness me. 4 wide into the hairpin, and now we've got a bit of a tussle as Tolley and Foden have ended up tagging a couple of other drivers. Puffs of smoke as the fenders of 2 or 3 drivers rub in together. That is Pollard getting a bit of a challenge from the man who came third in the B group, Rafael Drajac, who is already starting to make his way through the field. So into the braking zone for the hairpin once again at Corby. And this is the 63 Oliver Allwood trying to make his way further up from P5. He is in 4th at the moment. I think I just spotted the first drop of rain on the camera lens as they went through Corby. And it's not raining very heavily yet, but if it does start to rain big time through the course of the race, you'll see an awful lot of slipping and sliding around this Rockingham circuit. On board with Jason Greatrex as he gets into the braking zone for Tarzan. Careful, roll off the power. I'm just looking to see. I think he has got spots of rain on his windscreen. It's not even the end of the first lap, and it is raining here at Rockingham, so that is definitely spots of rain on the windscreen for Jason Greatrex. He's just got to get on with it and drive through the problems. We've seen time and time again in the BRSCC, when it rains at Rockingham, it catches a lot of people out. I remember the Toyo Tyres Porsche Championship race last year when in the 924s, Gavin Johnson was leading, set to take his first win. He arrived at Yentwood, and all of a sudden all the water in England had landed on the corner and he couldn't stop the car. So there is a chance that things could get very spicy here in Mazda MX-5s as they come over the line to start lap 2. And out in front, it is still Blackwell-Chambers hanging on, but a good run off turn 1 means that Langridge has a chance to come round the outside, and Sam Smith's looking hungry to move up into the top 2 again, having slipped to 3rd initially. So they come through Dean Hairpin. No major issues at the moment on this second lap. We're on board with John Langridge. That is Sam Smith behind us. So Langridge is splitting the 2 MCR cars at the moment. One of those is blue and white, of course. The other is red and white. And as they come through Chapman Curve, John Langridge just splitting the difference at the moment in the Valet Pro car. He tries to make his way forward. A really good season he's had, the number 5, and some very great performances in terms of his own character. He's really come of age in the 2018 season. He's always been a strong contender in the championship, but this year he's really sat up and paid attention. He, for me, is a title contender in 2019 for definite. As they come through to Gracelands once again, Langridge just lining up Will Blackwell-Chambers. He doesn't want to go too hungry too early. You've got to time this one right, especially if there is rain coming down on the circuit. It's not torrential yet. You can see that there's still a bit of spitting around the circuit, but it's definitely not causing massive difficulties in terms of track conditions, because you can see there's no spray coming off the tyres yet, so there's not enough water on the circuit for the drivers to be starting to panic. But we have had a little dash of it on that first lap. Blackwell-Chambers, Langridge and Sam Smith. They go through Brook Chicane, left, right, and then into the last left-hander, onto the main straight once again. So this is going to be an interesting one, because Sam Smith is obviously trying to stay as close to Blackwell-Chambers as humanly possible. He does not want to lose much ground in this round of the championship, because of course he wants to go to the season finale with an opportunity to overtake Will Blackwell-Chambers and take the title away from him. That is Allwood trying to shake off Mike Comber further back. This is the tussle for 4th position. Jason Greatrex has slipped to 6th after his fantastic start and is now trying to hustle these two into a mistake. Down into the braking zone for Dean Hairpin. The leading 3 go through. Then it's Allwood, Comber, Greatrex. And I think that is Paul Bateman who is there in 7th position. Yes, it is. Then it's Brian Trott. And then we've got Martin Tolley and Stephen Foden. We're on board with Callum Greatrex. Whoa, he's got problems of his own. Jack Brewer to his inside line coming off the turn. And he should finish off that move into the braking zone for Yentwood. He cuts right across Greatrex at the braking zone. That was a little bit cheeky. There wasn't really a lot Callum could do to slow down. And he just about got away with that one, Jack Brewer. He certainly had the overtaking move done as they come through Chapman Curve. But cutting back across Brewer when he's having to brake himself. A little bit cheeky as Allwood hits the dirt on the way out. And in 5th position, that is a good run too from Mike Comber. I have a feeling that Comber is not going to sit around and wait for an opportunity to come. He's just going to seize it. He's got a good opportunity now. He's got a good run off Gracelands, but Allwood is going to be absolutely married to the white line on the inside to stop the overtaking move from coming off. So into the braking zone for Tarzan. They roll off the power, they bleed it back in on the exit, then stab on the power once the car is straightened up. This is such a physical circuit. We are certainly going to miss it when it leaves us. This is our last weekend before the Rockingham Motor Speedway closes its door forever at the end of the 2018 season. And I have to say, I will shed a tear when the last lap comes in both the A and B groups. I've spent many of my greatest commentary days here at the Rockingham Motor Speedway. We are going to miss it so much. And it always gives us great racing here in the Mazda MX-5 Championship. And this is going to be no exception. Allwood still hanging on. This is a bit further back. This is the 7th place battle. Bateman, Trott, Tolley and Foden. They go through the first corner. Stephen Foden trying to line up Tolley. Tolley is definitely going for the inside line. He's gone over the white line actually to go through the corner. And here comes Brian Trott. Swarming around all over Bateman. The inside line didn't work. The outside line didn't work. So he's had to cut back to the outside line after another tussle up the inside. And as they go through the hairpin, he's going to try and get a good exit from Bateman. Meanwhile, Allwood has been passed by Comber. So Comber's got through. So Mike Comber is now into 4th position past Allwood. Then it is the 6th place man Greatrex. Here comes Brian Trott. A little bit of a love tap on the back of Bateman's car, the number 42. Martin Tolley and Stephen Foden are just sat there waiting for an opportunity to arise again. This is another good fight back through the field from Stephen Foden. He started his race initially and unfortunately ended up having to drop down the order after some difficulties in race 1. Just about managed to sneak into the A group once again. But Jack Moody, Bryn Griffiths, Rafał Dragic, Oliver Robinson and Ivan Leary were the ones who made it through from the B group, and they are having a great battle further back down the field. We'll try and keep up with them. But for the moment, it is safe and sound in the top 3. Blackwell Chambers leading, 2nd place Langridge, 3rd place Sam Smith, but Bateman is trying to hold on to this position in front of Brian Trott. The 23 Martin Tolley still has Stephen Foden for company. They come down the school straight once again. Langridge is still hanging on here in front of Sam Smith. Not quite able to get the overtaking move he needs yet on Blackwell Chambers, but he's just starting to line him up. He just needs to take his time about this. In a long race here at Rockingham on a very abrasive circuit that is counterclockwise, you need to be good at tyre management here. It's the ones who've looked after their tyres the best at the end of the 20 minutes that will really have a good chance to get a decent result at the end of the race. A little bit further back behind Foden, this is the battle for 11th place. Leading that charge looked like Martin Canning. And then it's Craig, Poles, and then the 93 of Jack Brewer. Here comes Poles, trying to go round the outside of Adam Craig. That is threading the eye of the needle at over 100 miles an hour through turn 1, and he's done it round the outside. Brilliant move from Clive Poles. Oh, that is as beautiful a move as you're ever going to see through turn 1 at Rockingham. Absolutely terrific. And that is very much going to keep Clive Poles in the hunt to chase after the 11th place man, Martin Canning. Looked to me like Brian Trott in the queue up in front had lost a couple of places and was now down to 9th position, just the whisker in front of Stephen Foden. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But Adam Craig being caught now by Jack Brewer as he tries to get his way through. But Craig is still trying to get one back on Clive Poles as they all try to catch up with the silver man in front, Martin Canning, the number 419. As they go into Corby hairpin once again. And they will come back onto the short stretch, the steel straight. Lots of curb being used by the drivers. Matt Pollard's having a good run on the back of Callum Greatrex as well. So good to see that Matt Pollard has definitely brought his A game to the table once again. They come through Gracelands and on the run to Tarzan yet again. Up to the 100-metre braking zone. The second you pass that 100-metre braking zone, you're taking 3 or 4 more metres and then you hit the brakes. You plant the car in and that's Greatrex hanging on in front of Pollard. No chance of Matt Pollard getting in on the inside, but on the exit he's going to get a lot more power out. And there's nothing Greatrex can do. He has to let him go. Hands off the wheel in frustration. What am I doing? I can't believe I let him go on the exit. Frustration from Callum Greatrex. Nothing at all that Matt Pollard did wrong there. But sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment and you realise, oh, he's just sold me the dummy. I can't believe he got me on the exit. I've done it myself in kart races I've done. And it's very, very irritating when you realise you're the one that let that move get away. So now Adam Craig on the back of Jack Brewer. So Brewer has made the move stick and has got out in front. Meanwhile, Clive Poles is chasing down Martin Canning. Canning is not going to be allowed a free run at this one. He has lost a couple of places off the start. It was very congested at the beginning, and Clive Poles has lost it. Oh dear, Clive Poles spins the car and is stationary in the middle of the hairpin. Now, what do you do at this point? Do you try and get it going again, or do you have to wait for the whole field to go through? He's going to reverse it, give them all space, and then hopefully he's going to get himself going. But there's a lot of steam coming off the bonnet, so I think Clive Poles may have just char-grilled the car. Oh dear, he has. And that is a big problem, because now the marshals are going to have to come to his aid. He's trying to get the car started again. But the front end of the car looks like it's turning into a bit of a barbecue at the moment. Marshall's trying to get him out of position. This is not good for Clive Poles, and sadly, this is going to see him demoted to the B group for the third and final race of the weekend, and his final ever race at Rockingham. Back on board with Langridge. Now, I did tell you that as long as you look after the tyres, you can get yourself back onto the tail of the man you're pursuing. And clearly, Langridge's tyre management has been very good indeed in this one, as he now finds himself right back on the tail of Will Blackwell-Chambers through the Brook chicane. Now, is there going to be a yellow flag out by the time they get to Dean? Because you can move cars from that point of the circuit fairly rapidly. But I'm not sure that's going to cause an issue. I don't think we'll see a safety car in this one, even though Clive Poles has spun the car into retirement. I think we're going to be all right. Here's Will Blackwell-Chambers through. Langridge is close to him and looks like he's got him on the run. Here comes Langridge. He's going to be absolutely nailed to the inside line. Blackwell-Chambers is going to force him to the outside. Langridge cuts back across. There's not a lot of room. He swerves to the inside, then swerves back out to the outside. Sam Smith is just hanging on to him at the moment. They go through Dean Hairpin. Absolutely bolted together, these three. Very good racing. We're on board with Langridge, looking back to Sam Smith. Langridge is going for the inside line. But that isn't to make the pass on Blackwell-Chambers. That's to cover off the attack from this man. Sam Smith, though, is going to try and get him on the undercut. They bang doors as they go through Chapman Curve. And Sam Smith takes the place. Brilliant racing. That is no nonsense, no holds barred battling. And Sam Smith has made the space. He's got through. He's had enough of a gap. If you rub doors, it's not a massive issue, as long as you don't take each other off the racetrack. But Sam Smith now gesturing, karting style, to John Langridge. Don't overtake me back. Work with me. Let's cut through the air together and go after Will Blackwell-Chambers. I've only really seen those sorts of hand gestures in kart racing. I certainly haven't seen it much in sports car racing. Brilliant stuff. But that is exactly what Sam Smith is gesturing to John Langridge to do. Work with me. Let's get after Will. So now they close up on the race leader and the championship leader, of course, as well. Will Blackwell-Chambers. This is going to be very enticing. That battle further back isn't settled either for fourth position. It's between Mike Comber, Oliver Allwood and Jason Greatrex. That's not done yet either. At least the top six are still the drivers in the top six, just in a slightly different order now. So John Langridge is back in third position, where he started, chasing down Sam Smith, who is in second place, where he started. And the pole sitter, Will Blackwell-Chambers, is still leading the way out front. Through turn one. Plenty of power, plenty of speed. You've got to have so much confidence in the car to place it through turn one. Now, interestingly, Smith is gaining ground on Blackwell-Chambers. Langridge is gaining ground on Smith. So here they come back into the braking zone again. Blackwell-Chambers is hesitating, trying to keep the car firmly stopped in the apex. Smith runs wide, brings the car back. And there are spots of rain on the camera lens again. So it looks as though there's a little bit of drizzle in the air still. Lyndsay did point it out to us at the start that this could be a very interesting race gamble-wise with the weather. John Langridge is on the back of these two once again, Blackwell-Chambers and Sam Smith. So Will Blackwell-Chambers leads the way still, up and over the piff path. Through the left, through the right, and up towards the braking zone for Corby. Careful, guys. Oh, you can see the way the car lists under heavy braking. Just as well, these cars have got fantastic suspension systems. These drivers don't have to give them a rattling at times. They're going to push right to the end of this race. checkered flag won't be far away. We've got less than 10 minutes to go now, so we're over half distance. And this is going to be a really exciting end to the race. Langridge, I do not think, is sitting down yet. He is definitely still paying attention to what these guys up front are doing. They come into the apex once again for Tarzan Hairpin. Back on the power for School Straight. And up to the braking zone for Brooks Chicane yet again. So watch for an opportunity here from Langridge on the back of Sam Smith. He will try something if he gets close enough. They go into the left, into the right. Rolling off the power once again. Langridge has got a really good run on Sam Smith this time. He may even get a run on the exit of the corner. Was that a puff of smoke? Was there a bit of a lock-up from the man in front? Now Langridge, look, is working with Sam Smith. You can see how much rain is falling on the windscreen now. And that is Sam Smith having to use his windscreen wipers. But the two of them are cutting through the air much faster than Blackwell Chambers. You can see how much ground they are gaining on him. They may get an opportunity to go for the inside line here, especially Blackwell Chambers is being ultra-defensive to the braking zone. It didn't quite work out in their favour, so we've decided to have a look at this one. This is Greatrex in 4th, Allwood in 5th, and Comber in 6th. And these three are as close as the leading three at the moment. Definitely some spots of rain on the camera again. As here comes Allwood, now trying to close down the attack from Comber. Comber does his best just to roll off the brake, keep the car nicely settled. Doesn't want to go into the back of Allwood's car. Now has a chance to make a lunge up the inside, but it's held and covered off nicely through Chapman Curve by Ollie Allwood. Up towards Piff Paff, through the left, through the right. Plenty of curb use. You've got to get very up close to that tyre barrier, and then into the left-hander at Kirby. Comber's definitely putting the pressure on Allwood as they come off the turn again. Back on the power. Down the steel straight, up towards Gracelands. Is there going to be a moment here for Comber? He's got to be patient at this point. He still doesn't want to be too hungry. He's got plenty of time to make the move on both of the drivers in front. There's still a good 2 or 3 laps left of this one. But he has to time it right. This is a very long circuit. 2.05 miles in length around the International Super Sports Car Circuit. But there's a lot of big speed moments followed by heavy stops. Got to look at the braking zones for Dean, for Kirby, for Tarzan, and for the Brooks Chicane. A lot of slow corners to meet with the fast ones around this place. Here they come again. Comber trying to shut down Allwood in front of him. Allwood just taking the line nicely through the final corner and back on the power once again, hugging the barrier on the way down the main straight as you do. Coming over the line again. No problems at all for our man in 4th position at the moment. Jason Greatrex holding the line. Look at the gap back to the battle for 7th place, which is currently side by side. Foden's making his bid to get past Martin Tolley. Foden's been climbing up through the field rapidly. He's got past Bateman, he's got past Trott, and now he is on the back of Martin Tolley. And as a result of their battle, look who's joined the party. That's Martin Canning at the back of the queue. So Foden goes the long way round. That is where Martin Tolley has sent him. Bateman is going to get an opportunity to the inside line to get him. And it's started raining a little bit heavily now. So there's going to be a bit of a to and fro in the braking zones, especially at the big stops. Foden just moving to cover across Bateman as Trott does the same to cover off Canning. Oh, and a bit of a run wide there from Foden. He goes a little bit deep into Yentwood. That could be enough to lose him maybe 1, maybe even 2 places. As up the inside comes Bateman, and Trott's going to get that way through as well. So Bateman is through. No, I was going to say Trott is through. Oh, careful, guys. 3 wide. And Piff Paff. You don't do that every day. Canning locks up the brakes. He slips up the inside of Trott. Ducks up behind Steve Foden. Oh, my word. Mazda MX-5 drivers deciding that 2 wide into Piff Paff isn't brave enough. 3 wide will do just fine. God, give me a heart attack, why don't you? Anyway, back at the front, we've got Blackwell Chambers, John Langridge and Sam Smith having a really good duel down the School Straight. Up towards Brooks Chicane again, and look, Blackwell Chambers really having to go defensive because Langridge and Smith have saved their best for last. Langridge has got back past Sam Smith. We didn't see where that happened, but they are now assaulting him once again to try and find the way on the inside line. They're coming at him 2 at a time. Onto the home straight. Running very short on time indeed now, as here comes Langridge to make a move up the inside as we go into the last lap. He's going to be tight. You're going to have to back out of that one, John. Oh, that was a pressure cooker and a half. Absolutely flirting with that white line on the inside. Langridge having to get off the steering. He's carrying lots more speed. He's going to get up alongside him. But this is going to be about Blackwell Chambers beating into the braking zone and then holding the inside line. Langridge rolling off the brake faster, keeping more speed around the outside. Blackwell Chambers trying to hang on to it. Sam Smith's got an opportunity. Blackwell Chambers holds the lead for the moment. Down in the braking zone for Yentwood. Smith's got a line round the outside of Langridge. He's going to have to be careful where he puts the car. And he's got him. Brilliant. Very close indeed between these three. Oh, dicing with death all the way through. And now they come up the pit path once again into Corby. Sam Smith has read this beautifully for the moment. Blackwell Chambers, the first one to meet the rain as it changes lap to lap. And he's having to basically deal with the elements as he hits them. This is going to be a tight one. Any one of these three could win it from here. We've still got Greystands, the left-hander. You've got to carry a lot of speed through here. If the surface is greasy, you've got to be prepared for that. All three of them are. So now just 4 corners remain. Tarzan, the first apex. Langridge has a look up the inside. Sam Smith sideways and rolls off the power. Langridge gets them over the inside line. And they are close together now, door to door. The rear bumper falling off Langridge's car as they go dueling for the victory. Tussling each other for the braking zone. Langridge has got to be brave if he wants to win this one now. Smith up the inside takes the lead. Blackwell Chambers has got nothing he can do about it. He was boxed in behind a sliding Smith. They come into the final turn. Langridge isn't going to get the power he wants, but Sam Smith has managed to put Langridge between himself and his main opponent for the championship. Across the line, it's going to be a close one, but it is Sam Smith who gets there. Something falls off Langridge's car as he comes across the line, but Langridge is second to Blackwell Chambers. Greatrex fourth. 5th position is Ollie Allwood, and 6th place for Mike Comber. Tolly, Bateman, Canning and Foden round out the top 10. Fastest lap of the race, John Langridge, and fair dues in the process. What great racing. Outside the top 10, it's Jack Brewer from Brian Trott, Craig Pollard, Callum Greatrex and Rafael Dragic from Jack Moody, and then the 5 who'll be demoted to the B group. Ollie Robinson, Ivan Leary, Bryn Griffiths, Clive Poles and Scott Leach, the latter 2 who retired from a brilliant race here in the second one for Rockingham.
Sam, firstly, congratulations, but that was one hell of a move on that last lap.
Yeah, I needed to do it. Will's just got the edge on me around here. He's edging away. John was on my heels the whole race. I was quite happy to sit in second. I think I might have got the fastest lap, I'm not sure. But when I saw John going up the inside of me, I was like, off the brake, into the corner and see what happens. And I pulled it off somehow. So, yeah, it was a good race. Really happy I won that race. So, hardest I've driven all year, I think that was.
So is this you still showing the rest of us that you have it in you to win?
Yeah, I want to win. I'm here to win. Will's a good championship contender. He'll be moaning like a little baby for this, but yeah, he'll get over it.
Well, congratulations. Go and enjoy the win, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Thanks, Lyndsay. Thank you.
John, huge congratulations. You were fighting all the way around there.
Yeah, it was tooth and nail, that one. The three of us pulled away quite nicely, and the car, the AB Boys Motorsport, put the car together so well. I couldn't complain on that front. It was just tactics and trying to get in front.
Well, you were so fast in the infield.
Yeah, well, there's a massive draft around the outside of the circuit. You get the slipstream, and it's a case of sort of not making mistakes on the infield and trying to keep up.
I've got to ask, when Sam made that move, did you think this is an opportunity?
Yeah, of course. I saw the gap opening. I thought, brilliant, this is on, but it didn't quite happen that time.
Brilliant. Well, see you this afternoon and go and enjoy the second place.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Will, what was going through your mind when Sam made that move?
Well, there was a lot of smoke, a lot of squealing, and it was basically I'm going to get fired out of this race into the gravel trap or come round in third. So third's better than a DNF, so take that. Not really on, but it's getting towards that end of the championship, and I didn't think it would quite resort to that. But there's more races to play with, so we'll see what we can do in the next one and see if we can get back on the top step.
So obviously you'll be starting behind Sam. Do you think that's going to give you a bit of an edge going into the next race?
We're starting behind him, we'll be pushing him into the first corner. Sam and Langridge have got a good gap to the rest of the field, so it'll probably be the same. We'll pull away, just try and get back up to the top of it and control the race like I was doing then, and then not give them the opportunity to fire me off in the last corner. So we'll see how it goes.
Brilliant, well, we'll look forward to it.
Cheers.